So once you guys have logged into the system, this is the page that you'll be greeted with. This is comprised of a couple of different dashboards that we're going to talk more about. I do want to go ahead and mention that these are all just snapshots of information that are in your product. So anything that you see on this homepage, you can find more details on as you go further inside the product, just kind of to give you a little bit of an idea on what's been going on. All right, so those different dashboards are comprised of your current membership roster. This is going to list any of your member types and how many individuals are in each of those member types. So we would have, and I got to delete this one out. My apologies. When we talked yesterday, I created this new one. So I'll delete this out on our call today. So you have a college member type and then college contacts. So the college member type, that 126, means that you guys have 126 colleges that are your members and 487 linked individuals to those colleges. And then lastly, we have your prospects. Prospects will just list any non-members. So if anybody, we talked about that yesterday, when somebody registers for an event, or if somebody, what was I going to say? If somebody registers for an event or they bring their guest, a prospect profile will be created for them and stored in this prospect non-member member type. The new members in the last 90 days, this is just going to pull out any of those individuals that have just joined in the last 90 days, so you can quickly email them, reiterating the membership benefits they're gaining by being a part of your association. Any questions on either of these dashboards?
No.
All right, awesome. Let's keep rolling. We have our event dashboards. These are going to pull in either up to 3 past events or 3 upcoming events. So this will just list the name of the event, the date that it was or will be held on, and how many people either attended or will register. Same thing here. We're going to learn more about your forms, more about how you can review those different forms. So this is just a quick little snapshot of what's going on with your events. Lastly, we have your financial dashboards. Our aged receivables will show you how many outstanding invoices you have by how many days and how much money. So current 1 to 30, 31 to 60, this would be whether it's a current invoice, if it's 1 to 30 days past due, 31 to 60 days past due, 61 to 90 days past due, and 91 plus days past due. Lastly, once I receive your account, your revenue accounts, the sales over time chart will show you how much money was brought in per month per revenue account, and you'll be able to filter those revenue accounts once I've received them and been able to add them in to take a look at kind of what that, whether it's for events or donations, or maybe you have a special conference that has its own revenue account, kind of what's bringing in money and when it's bringing it in. And this is everything on our home page that you see once you've logged in as an admin. Any questions on this?
Yeah, we do. We had one question about the account code too, for where it showed the chart. Are we supposed to give you not only the membership dues account codes, but also the different codes for our revenue for events in order for it to show over the sales over time chart?
Exactly. I'll need all of the income revenue accounts that you guys have right now.
Okay. Okay. And that'll all show, I'm sorry, so, and we can customize what we see in this, in that graph based on whichever code we want to look at?
Exactly. You'll be able to use your revenue account filter. All of your revenue accounts will be listed in this area. You can just select that revenue account, hit apply, and it'll adjust to that particular revenue account.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, of course. Any other questions? All right, so now we're going to jump into our account settings tab, and that's just going to be under settings and account settings. The account settings tab is really, you guys will only need to come here a couple times. And when you guys provide me that account settings document, some more of these items will be filled out, but the only time you'll really need to use this area once you've graduated is it will be once you've graduated with me and you guys start calling into the help team for questions. They're going to ask you for your account number, and that will always be listed under this account settings tab. And that's just for them to help find your account to provide help to you guys. This is also a great place to keep track of how many custom profiles you've used or prospect profiles you've used. So at the level that you have with MemberClicks, you guys have up to 1,000 custom profiles and up to 3,000 prospect profiles. And so if you start approaching that 1,000 number, then you'd know that it's time to level up. And then the rest of this information, your time zone, your membership year, whether you want your membership number to show or not, I always leave this turned on because the membership number is a great system attribute, but this is something that you guys can hide in the attribute security and profile owner attribute security. We're going to talk about that in just a little bit. So I always leave it on here, but you can hide it from your members elsewhere in the system. And I'm going to show you how to do that. Whether you're using QuickBooks or not, that account settings document will give me an email that you would like to, when you send emails from MemberClicks, you need a reply to email for your members to respond to those emails, you know, where that email goes. And so whatever email you supply to me from that account settings document, I'll be able to add in here, and then I'll just confirm your billing contact information. Any questions on this?
No.
All right, did you guys have any questions when you were going over that account settings document yesterday?
No, it was, we had filled it out, and we'll send that over to you. No, I didn't, I mean, the person that we put for the billing contact is our, controller. Is that okay?
Yeah, whatever billing contact information that needs to be in the system, if you just fill it out on that account settings document, I'll be able to put it right in this area.
Okay, great. Yeah.
So Adrian, we did have a question about, since we're not going to be using QuickBooks, we'll be using Authorize.net. We were, and I don't know if your training, if this training will cover it, how Authorize.net will be integrated into MemberClicks. And specifically, I just came across this morning for membership dues. We don't, and we haven't in the past allowed members to pay via credit card because of the credit card payment processing fee. So we were wondering, in the form, is it customizable just to show an option for offline check payments?
Yes, absolutely. We can definitely do that. Now, Authorize.net, so QuickBooks, typically the functions that QuickBooks and Authorize.net use are different. QuickBooks is more of like what you would use to reconcile your accounts and balance your accounts, whereas Authorize.net just collects the payment. So do you guys have any type of financial system that you use?
We do. We use Intact and Bill.com.
Okay, and that's totally fine. I'm going to go ahead and turn this off. And so, so yeah, we are going to go ahead and look at the financial piece now, and I can show you how Authorize.net is going to integrate with MemberClicks. Before I do that, any additional questions on these items?
No, I think we're good. Thank you.
Okay, awesome. Great, so then I'll just need that, you said, when were you going to send that account settings document over?
We could probably do it by today, right? We just have to add the revenue accounts for events. And then we could send that over to you.
Yeah, that would be great. Awesome. So I'm going to go ahead and save the account settings, and now we can jump into talking a little bit about the financials. Now, the financial piece is a little bit difficult to visualize without having real invoices. So I'm using my MemberClicks test account. Now, for you guys, when you get ready to start looking at the financials, you're going to use the Financial tab, and then you're going to go to Invoices. Now, right now, your invoice list is empty because you do not have any invoices created in the system. So I'm going to use that MemberClicks test account like I mentioned, and this is the invoice list for our test account. So this is exactly what your invoice list will begin to look like once invoices have been created in the system. Now there are some amazing things you can do in here. This invoice list will hold all of the invoices ever created in your product. So whether they've been paid, voided, open, partially paid, they will all be in this invoice list. So of course, over time, this invoice list is going to become huge. In order to find the invoices that you're looking for, search invoices, we do have a search bar up here in the top right-hand corner. You can search invoices by first name, last name, invoice number, and organization name. So I could type in my name, and it's going to pull up any invoice that I have in the system that I've created in the system. I can further search for the specific invoice I'm looking for by filtering by invoice type. Maybe I only want to see my renewal invoices. And then maybe I only want to see my paid renewal invoices. So I can apply an additional status search based on these selections up at the top here. So if I select paid, now it's only showing me my paid renewal invoices that I have in the system. So we can filter by any type of invoice, first name, last name, organization name, or invoice number, and then any status of the invoices. Any questions on how I did that?
No.
Okay. We can also, once we find the invoice we're looking for, we can tag a specific invoice and we can re-email it. So if somebody says, oh, I need my paid invoice, or oh, I would need to receive my open invoice again, we can just tag that invoice, select email. It will automatically email it to their default email address that they have in their profile. If you want to change it, you could type in something different, or you could add additional recipients that it needs to go to. In addition, you can also tag any invoices that you would like to print off. So we could tag all open invoices, for example, create a PDF and print all of those off. If I hit print one invoice, it's just going to export that invoice for us. So, and then we can, from our exports, we have the ability to print it. So what that just did is if I go to the reporting tab, anything you export in the system is going to fall under this exports tab. I can go ahead and select the exports tab. And here's my invoice that we just exported. I can download the file and we'll be able to print this off. We're going to go back to our MemberClicks test site. I'm going to go to financial and invoices once again. All right, any questions on how we can search, email, or print off invoices?
So where does the information come? What does the template look like for an invoice? Is that something we create, or like for the event ones? I know we've got the one for the membership one, but for the event ones?
We're getting there. So hang tight for me for 1 second and we'll review that. We're getting there.
Question,
so,
another follow-up. The invoice numbering system, are we able to customize that, or is that just auto-generated?
So you can start at any invoice number that you'd like to pick up on, and I'll show you where you'll be adding that into the system. But once that has been added, so like if you wanted to start at invoice number 1 or 100, it's just going to start at that number and work its way up. It won't be able to skip any numbers, and there cannot be any special characters in our invoice numbers.
Okay.
So I'm going to
bill.com or something like that to match the invoice number. I wonder if that's going to be an issue.
Well, with bill.com, no, whatever the invoice is, that's what we use to input in bill.com.
Are we trying to match it with MemberClicks, though? Because we're still going to have to get that information for the membership, the payment, from this system to bill.com.
So could we generate the invoice first here and then customize in bill.com?
Yeah.
We can?
Yeah, so right now when we get invoices in, like from the water people, Alhambra or whatever, that's the invoice number that she uses.
Alice uses.
For bill.com.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we can just match whatever this was given.
Yeah, if I'm correct, that's that was one of the features that her and Kiana restarted.
Okay.
So, I mean, we can double check. So, yeah, if we want it, then we just do.
I'll write a note.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Sorry, Adrian.
No, you're totally fine. I know sometimes you've got to think about how that's going to apply. So those are good conversations. I'm going to go ahead and click on an invoice number, and that's going to show us what the invoice looks like. Now, there's a couple of things that you guys can specify about your invoices, and I'm going to have you guys do that as homework after our training today. One of those items is adding your logo. What logo do you want to appear in the top right-hand corner of your invoice? And then the second piece is going to be what association information of yours do you want to populate on the top left-hand corner of your invoice. You can also determine what notes field you want on each of your different types of invoices. So I'm going to show you how you can add that in. These are external notes, so your members will be able to see these notes. We also have an area for internal comments on our invoices. So that would be down here at the bottom. You guys can add notes to this area, and it will not reflect on the member-facing invoice. It will only be seen on the administrative view of the invoicing. You can also, from this area, download an invoice to print off, void an invoice, create credit invoices, and then you can pay an invoice. So what will probably happen a lot of times, it sounds like you guys are going to be applying offline payments a lot. So if you receive a check, you would find the invoice that you'd like to apply the payment to, select pay invoice on the invoice, and then either put in somebody's credit card information or make an offline payment. Select what type of offline payment you're creating, the amount to be paid, the reference, or in your case, check number, the date received, and then you would just confirm their email. Once all that information's been input, you can submit the offline payment and the invoice will reflect as paid. Any questions on how to do that? It's a pretty straightforward process. Okay. All right, so I'm going to go back to our invoice list. Now, you guys mentioned invoice templates. So we have something called invoice templates, but it's usually not what you guys think that it is. An invoice template in our system is it's just an email. So there's a notifications document that you guys need to fill out and send back to me. And those notifications have to do with dues renewals only. So if somebody's up for their dues renewals, they're going to receive that notification, whatever you guys are going to send me, that verbiage. Now, if any other type of invoice is created for them in the system, maybe it's for an event, a donation, whatever the case may be, you will need to have invoice templates set up. And these are going to be notifications that will go out for each of your different types of invoices in the system, reminding them that they need to pay the invoice. So these are called invoice templates, and really they're just they're really just notifications. So in your site, I'm going to go to invoice templates. What you guys will need to do is create an invoice template for every type of invoice the system will be creating for you. So examples would be, I already mentioned, like events, if you have donations, new members, you will have to have one for new members. Renewals, those notifications are coming elsewhere for renewals, but you still can add notes to the renewal invoices, and it'll be pulling from these invoice templates. So I'm going to go ahead and create an invoice template, and I'm going to call this events. So if I come into your system and register for an event, you'll be able to apply this invoice template to the events form, and it's going to be pulling the information from this template. So when is their invoice due? Anywhere from 15 to 90 days after they submitted this form. 30 days is most typical. Footer information, that is the notes section that you can specify for each type of invoice that your system creates. What type of notes do you want to appear on their invoice? And then lastly, if I could register for an event and I did not have to pay at time of registration, if I could register and an open invoice is created for me, you would definitely want to make sure that you're setting up the new invoice email. So you would turn this on, edit the email, and make sure that you're adding verbiage. Thank you so much for registering for our event. Make sure you pay the attached invoice. All of these notifications will have the invoice attached. So the individual, all they have to do is read the invoice, click on the link at the bottom of the notification, and then apply payment. So these all are kind of like doing your dirty work for you. So instead of you having to remind your members, hey, you need to pay this invoice, the system's kind of doing it. It's doing it for you. So you would want to make sure you're setting up the reminder email, the past due email, and the payment notification email. Does this make sense?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. I have some resources that I'm going to send to you guys after our call today as well, but this is one of those items that you guys will need to come in here and complete before our next training. So go ahead and create a list of all the different types of invoices MemberClicks will create for you, and then you'll want to create an invoice template and apply verbiage for each of those notifications.
I have a question, Adrian. So I just completed the notification settings document. Do I need to go in there and create an email template for the renewals since we filled that out, or did I miss that? Sorry.
That notifications document that you have, that verbiage that you created is only for renewals.
Yeah. So
this is for everything else. Say that again.
So I don't have to go in there and create the same thing, right?
You won't have to create one for renewals, but you'll have to create them for every other type of invoice that's in the system that the system will create for you.
Okay.
Does that make sense? So it's renewals is taken care of. Don't worry about that.
Okay.
You'll just need to create one for every other type of invoice.
Okay, and then we just wanted to clarify, so we don't have new members, right? So we don't need to create a template for new members.
Right. So then you can just create one for just events and every other type that you will need.
Okay.
So
how will the email know, is there a way, like, say, for example, we have over 20 events. If we create a template, is there a way to customize that template?
Customize it. That's what you're doing in here when you create these invoice templates, is you're customizing each template based on, it's more of an umbrella than for so you wouldn't say, thank you for registering for our December luncheon. It would say, thank you for registering for our upcoming event.
Oh, it just has to be generic.
You could make one for every event, but that's going to take you guys a lot of time. And the idea behind these is that you can have something more generic to apply to all of your forms. So 3 years from now, you can be using these same invoice templates versus every time you have a new event, you're also having to create a new invoice template.
Yeah, I mean, are you guys okay with that?
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be like customized.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Because the invoice is going to be attached and that has the details, right?
Exactly.
Okay.
That's exactly right.
Okay.
So this is the first item that I'd love for you guys, or that it needs to be done before our next training. The next item is the invoice settings icon. So this is the third icon that you see up here. This one's really easy. I'll just need you to add your organization logo. This is the logo that will appear in the top right-hand corner of your invoice. Your organization information, this is your information that will appear on the top left-hand corner of your invoice. And then what invoice number you'd like to start out in the system. Any questions on that?
Nope.
Okay, awesome. So I'm going to recap these for you guys in a follow-up email, of course, as well.
Okay.
Once I receive your revenue accounts, I'll be able to add them in this fourth icon, revenue accounts. Adding new revenue accounts in your system is really easy. We would just simply add a new revenue account. Add in the revenue account name. You'd fill out these additional pieces of information. The description of the account. If you guys have cash-based accounting, we would toggle on that it's for cash accounting. If you have accrual-based accounting, we would leave this toggled off. Do you guys know what financial system you're on?
Accrual.
Perfect. And then if it's for dues revenue, we would toggle on that it's for dues. If it's not for dues revenue, we would leave that toggled off. Once that is complete, we would select save, and it would create that revenue account for us. Lastly, we have our payment processor. So our payment processor is where authorized.net will be found. I'm going to have to ask billing to add authorized.net. Now, when you guys went through the sales process, were you slated to use Moolah?
Say that again, sorry.
Were we
Were you, yeah. You never were?
No,
Okay.
we had a discussion, the controller had a discussion with MemberClicks, but we decided to continue with authorized.net for this year, and then it may change next year, she said.
So I do know that when you went through this process, there's typically, if you go with Moolah, like a $600 discount. And if you changed and decided to go with authorized.net, that means that you would no longer get that $600 discount. So I'll have to check with billing to see if you guys need to be billed that difference. But do you guys want to maybe talk about that a little bit more, since there is that incentive?
I don't think we got that discount initially. We can check, and you want to log in the bill. We can check right now. I don't think we got that discount initially, but we'll check.
Let me see. Okay, yeah, and my billing can tell me too. I wouldn't necessarily know. Spence. Handoff. I just want to see if Spence made a note. He said, yeah, he said that you guys are using Moolah, so he would have included the discount.
We never said we were using Moolah, so.
Okay, that's fine. I mean, and it's fine. It's not a big deal. I just want to make sure you guys are aware that there's not a discount. Okay, cool. I'll follow up with my billing team. Awesome.
So, yeah, sorry, go back to that one page, Tanya. So the discount that we got, so I'm looking at the, what is this, the MemberClicks contract, and it says, for MemberClicks Level 2, the discount that we got was a September discount of $300, and Level 1 setup discount of $1,200. Is that with the Moolah?
I have no idea. I'd have to go back to my billing team and ask them.
Yeah, because I'm pretty sure the controller was pretty adamant that we weren't changing to Moolah, so I don't think that did reflect it. But yeah, let's make sure.
Okay. Yep, absolutely. I'll send an email to billing and find out. Awesome. All right. Any other questions on any of these financial pieces?
I think we're good for now. Yeah, I think we're good for now. But so you're going to set up the account, authorized.net in that piece that we just reviewed.
Exactly. I have to wait for billing to add it, and that's why I have to even contact them at all. I can't add it unless they have to add it. So I'll be waiting for them to add that, and then they'll be able to. So basically the way authorized.net will work is once I've been able to add auth.net, you guys will have like a login and security key that you'll add, and that's all we have to do.
Okay.
Then we're done. And then we'll be able to select on each form for dues renewals, on anything at all in the system, whether we want authorized.net to be available to your members or if they have to pay offline.
Okay.
All right. Now, you can pull a transaction report from the financials and transactions. Since you guys are not using QuickBooks, I don't know if this can import to what you guys are using to help reconcile your accounts. But you can export this to a CSV file. So you'll be able to take a specific transaction date. If you're looking for particular revenue accounts, transaction types, transaction statuses, payment types, or credit card types, you could then export any of that to the CSV files. Now, this transaction report will reflect the sale and the payment, the debit and the credit. So there'd be 2 line items per transaction. So this might be something that you guys can use with your existing system. It might not be. I don't have a lot of experience working with what you guys have. Traditionally, I would work with I know how this works with QuickBooks. But this would definitely be something that you guys could take a look at and see if it might be something that could work with your financial system. And I have some documentation I can send to you guys on that. Awesome. So I'm kind of going to change our focus from financials to more about the database, your members' profiles, and how we keep track of your members' profiles, how we can search them and edit them. So I'm actually going to be moving under the database tab and attributes. Now, attributes are what describe your members. So my name is Adrienne, my name being an attribute of who I am. We have 3 different types of attributes in our system that make up your members' profiles. We have built-in attributes. These are the items that you see on my screen here. A built-in attribute is a piece of information that we've seen across the 1,800 plus associations we've worked with that we know you guys collect on your members. Things like first and last name, email address, physical address, phone number, and organization. Now, we are not able to get rid of this information, but we can expand upon it. So for email address, physical address, and phone number, we can collect up to 5 of any of those different types of information on your members, up to 5 email addresses, up to 5 physical addresses, up to 5 phone numbers. So when I look at the email address, I can select Edit Settings. This allows us to create different labels or different fields to hold different email addresses. So right now it looks like you guys just had a main. Usually you don't collect home. It would be like a main email address. And then you can collect like a secondary, tertiary. You may have a college, spouse. This might have spelled that wrong. So now I can't create any additional labels because we can only have up to 5, but 5 is enough. That's usually plenty of email addresses, physical addresses, and phone numbers that you can collect per each member. So does this make sense, what I just, like how we can kind of expand upon these different fields and how you can collect additional information on your members?
Yep.
Awesome. So I'm going to select Save. So I'm going to go ahead and also, I bet you that tell me if I'm mistaken, but would you say that physical address and phone number, none of these are home addresses, but maybe more just like main? Or would they be home?
I think it would depend on the member type. So our colleges would be probably main, but the folks that would be tied to the college would probably have a home address, right? For like events and stuff, we would be billing them directly. No?
We always build a campus.
We build a campus? Mm-hmm. So it would still be their campus? Mm-hmm. Okay. So then, yeah, so main, you're right.
Awesome. And we can always change this again. All right, let me save that. Okay, so these are those built-in attributes. We can also expand upon their first name. So right now we just have first and last names that we're collecting, but we can also have the opportunity to collect additional fields like prefixes, suffixes, and middle names. Hang tight with me for 1 second, guys. I apologize. Okay, awesome. I'm going to select cancel. So these are all about built-in attributes. Now I mentioned we have 3 different types. We also have custom attributes. Custom attributes are fields that we wouldn't know that we needed to collect on your members. Elliot would have built these out based on what you had in your database. you guys may end up having additional fields that you want to collect on your members. Things like birth dates, or I get a lot like services offered. That wouldn't really apply to you guys, but if you think of any additional attributes, custom attributes, or demographics that you would want to collect on your members, we can continually expand this. So we can constantly be adding new items to this list. But this is what we have collected so far. Now, built-in and custom attributes will be used with forms. So this is going to come up a lot. When we get back to the forms piece, we'll be able to use these built-in and custom attributes to collect information in these different fields and store it in the member's profile. So if somebody was registering for an event and you guys are like, man, we really should have been collecting our members' birth dates, for a silly example, or county. County's a big one. We could create a new custom attribute, add it to that form, and then it's going to collect the information that they fill out on the event registration and save it in their profile. So that's just one kind of way that we can use custom attributes. We're going to talk about these a million times more, though, during our trainings. Any questions on custom attributes?
No.
Okay. All right. Lastly, we have system attributes. A system attribute is just a piece of information that the system keeps track of to keep track of your members' membership period and expiration date, membership period and how much they owe in dues. An example would be something like their expiration date, join date, last renewal date, member type, member number, member status. So these are just items that the system will be keeping track of for you all. All right, so those are our 3 different types of attributes. Any questions on any of those items?
Nope.
Okay, awesome. Now, I want to go ahead and start talking about how these relate to your member profiles. So up here, search and profile list, these are going to be probably the 2 buttons you use most in our system. They are so hugely important and helpful. We can use the search bar, and the second that we type in 3 letters, it's going to go ahead and search those 3 letters in first names, last names, email addresses, and companies. So we can see that we've got a couple of profiles that SMI relate to. We can go ahead and select, once we find the profile we're looking for, we can select that profile, and it's going to bring us into this individual's profile. Now, the profiles are organized based on attributes. So the first box that we have over here on the left, these are all those built-in attributes that we just discussed. The box over here in the right-hand corner, these are all of the system attributes that the system is using to keep track of your members' membership period. In the middle, now this is an individual's profile. In the middle, we have who this individual belongs to, what college they belong to. We're going to go look at the college's profile in just a second. Down below, we also have the individual's built-in attributes once again, and a summary of their custom attributes. I can go ahead and select Edit to edit any of the fields in this individual's profile. We can also view a couple of other things for this specific individual within their profile as well, such as their contact preferences, their message history. Message history is going to be any email that they've ever received from MemberClicks. E-lists and committees have to do with social community items. We're going to come back to talking about these shortly. Submissions are any form submissions. And then invoices would be any invoice ever created for this individual. So we'll be able to review all of that information from a specific individual's or member's profile. Now we can go straight to this individual's college profile by using this middle section that we discussed and selecting View Profile. So this is going to take us to Mount San, and I'm not going to be able to say that, but we can go straight to their profile. And we are now in the company's profile. From the company's profile, there are a couple of different things that we'll be able to learn. Things like how many linked individuals they have. Same thing though, built-in attributes, system attributes. Built-in attributes, again, down here at the bottom, custom attributes summarized here. But then, and then same thing, message history would be any emails that the company's received, submissions, invoices, but we have those linked profiles stored in here. This is going to show us anybody that's linked to this college. So we have these 3 individual linked profiles. And the key contact is going to be the individual that's designated as the key contact. Anybody that's not toggled on as the key contact would, of course, not be a key contact. If any of these linked individuals changed, you could easily unlink somebody who maybe didn't belong to this college anymore. And you can always create new linked profiles as well. Any questions on any of this, how the profiles?
Hey, Adrian, so we have a 1,000 member level, right? That's our, I didn't ask that correctly. How many membership profiles are we allowed to have? Is it 1,000? Is that right?
That's right.
And how many do we have now? I thought I saw something that said 600.
617.
So who are those 617 in the system right now? It's the contacts.
Yeah. Remember, because we did that export with Elliot.
Yeah, okay. So each of those individuals are considered a full member. You guys think we're going to go over that 1,000?
I don't know. Like, it's just hard for me to know because I wouldn't. I feel like this is everybody and then some. So I don't know if we would. But we can always increase that in the future, as they said.
For the so if we had people who were signing up because they were attending our events, they would come up as a prospect member, right, Adrian?
Exactly.
And then we have how many prospect members were given?
I think 3,000.
Okay, that should cover our.
I think so.
Okay.
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
And I think
Needed
even
to run the
that
numbers.
600 is like generous because I pulled that from what Rita gave me from Drupal,
Okay.
right? So I think that's like a generous amount.
The president, the vice president, all the.
Yeah,
the
it's all the stuff that you gave me. So the
Okay.
liaisons, presidents, vice presidents,
Okay.
curriculum,
Yeah.
Okay.
which I assume those are all the people that go to the events.
Yeah. And
Yeah,
they're,
different types of events. Yeah.
yeah.
Right?
And
Yeah.
a lot of them recycle each event, you know, it's pretty much the same ones. I think 3,000 is, I think we're
You're
good.
okay?
Yeah.
I think so.
And are we able, Adrian, to just keep people as prospect members forever without having to ever move them into like a full member?
Yes, absolutely. You can keep prospects hanging out as prospects forever if you wanted to.
Okay.
I have a question, Adrian. So currently we have the member types as college, college contacts. Is there, can we in the future, create, from the prospects, create like a separate list, like say for like media or for sponsors? Could we pull from the prospects bucket, or do we have to do that in from our 1,000 bucket?
Yeah, so what I think I understand what you're asking for. My suggestion would be creating a custom attribute, like a selection set that would basically list what type of prospect each prospect is. And then you can use our advanced search feature, which we're going to look at here in just a moment, at how to do that.
Got it. Okay, that makes sense. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah. For sponsor contacts and things like that.
Yeah.
Now, you guys can view your members' profiles on the back end, just like I showed you, right? But your members can view their profiles on the front end as well. They also have the opportunity They also have the opportunity to view each other's profiles if you wanted them to. So this information is going to be pulling from attribute security and profile owner attribute security. So let me talk a little bit more about that. I'm going to go back to database and attributes. I'm going to toggle back over here for just a second. We have something called profile owner attribute security and then attribute security. Profile owner attribute security, these two things are things that you guys will need to do after our training today as well. Profile owner attribute security is what your members can do or see in their own profiles. Now let me go ahead and get rid of the college so this is not confusing. And we need to get rid of the formula. This will make this a little bit more straightforward. All right, database, attributes. Profile owner attribute security determines what your members can do or see in their own profiles. This also relates to data merge materials. So if they can't see something, it's not going to data merge when you guys send them an email. So for example, you guys are admin, you can edit whatever you'd like to edit. Now maybe your colleges or college contacts, the contacts to your colleges can edit anything that they want in their profiles as well. The only thing here is that at the very bottom, you'll see system attributes, and they should not be able to edit any of those system attributes at most. They should be able to view them. This is also where you could hide that member number. So if you didn't even want your members to know that they had a member number, you could just turn this back off. Now, if you guys can get confused with what these different symbols mean, we do have a legend up here in the top left-hand corner for you.
Okay.
So I'm kind of creating like a general, what questions do you have on this?
I don't have any.
It's pretty straightforward. I've basically done this for you. It would just be if you wanted to make any changes, then you could come in here and do that. We probably don't need this member type either. Let's go see if I can get rid of that. Yep. Now I'm going to go to database and back to attributes. So that's one piece, profile owner attribute security. The other piece to this, and I'm going to make prospects so that they can see anything. The reason why is prospects don't have a profile. They're not going to be able to like view their own profile. But we don't want you guys to get ready to send prospects an email, dear data merge first name, and it's not going to data merge in because they don't have permission to view it, right? So I'm just going to go ahead and make it so that they can see any of this stuff, and
Adrian,
but they're not going to be able to edit.
Sorry,
Yeah.
Adrian, to go back to a comment, so you said that prospect members won't be able to see their own profiles?
Correct.
They don't, so even though they have a login, they won't, when they're logged in, what would they see?
Prospects, nothing. I mean, you guys can give them specific permissions to see content, which you guys don't have any content, but like, not really anything.
So they're not able to pull up any of their history, you know, like if they attended 2 previous events, they're not able to look that up? No,
and it's not normal to give those, I would say it would be abnormal to give those permissions to prospects. The reason why is because they're not a paying member, so they shouldn't benefit the same way that your members would benefit, but they won't be able to go to the member landing page. We might be able to.
If we wanted to turn that, so remember, we're not like a traditional organization in the sense that we have members that are paying individually. They're all paid for by their college. So I guess this is a 2-part question, actually. So if we wanted to turn on all of those features for prospects, can we? And are we able to link prospects to their colleges in the same way that we would link a full member to the college?
You are not able to link prospects to companies. They cannot have a parent-child relationship, or colleges, I should say. I'll have to look into if there is any way that we can give prospects some additional permissions to the social community, and I can let you guys know. I am almost 100% positive that we are not able to, but I'll just double check and make sure.
So Adrian, I have a question. So if a prospect member, right, because they're all members, if a prospect has not paid for an event, how are we supposed to have them pay for that event? Do we have to manually go in and select who, like Joe Smith, to pay his invoice? We could send him like an email and he could click from there.
That's what those invoice templates, that's what those invoice templates are used for. So they would still have a profile on the back end for you guys, they just can't see their own profile.
So how would they, so the only way that they would be able to access the invoice is if it is once it's sent through the notification system, but they won't actually get to log in, look at any previous invoices that they've received through MemberClicks. We would have to initiate that if something passed already, or if they wanted something, you know, that they wanted an invoice that they attended a year ago that they've already paid for.
You could just find the invoice, select it, and re-email it to them from the invoice list, would be one way that you could handle that.
Some of this stuff, I think we need to see how it plays out, because technically we have like, what is it, 10,000 members under each community college, right? We have over 50,000, or is it 10,000? I don't know the number, but it's,
Well, we have 58,000 faculty members.
yeah, so we have 58,000 faculty members. So our list is 617, because we imagine that 617 number is primarily the members who are actually engaging with us. So the challenge becomes then, how do we capture our members who are part of that 58,000, and make it a process that's just as easy for them as opposed to just that 617.
So any prospects that you gain, why wouldn't they be a member?
Because we have a cap.
Yeah, I mean, that's really it. So our cap is 1,000. We could review and see if we're able to pay, or if we're able to level up. I think at this point we included only the 600 because that was the leadership at the colleges. So yeah, I mean, we could potentially.
I think we need to first try this out and evaluate,
Yeah.
who actually lands in our prospect box,
Yeah.
to see if we need to level up. And I think
Yeah.
that's where our train of thought was in the beginning anyways.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I think it works still. It's just, so for the prospect, I'm just kind of still caught up on the fact that they have to log in, because they're not really
They're not
like,
seeing anything.
they're not seeing anything. So does that login give them the benefit of, like, say if I'm a prospect and I create a login, I attended one event, and now in the fall I want to attend another event. Do I have the benefit of just having that same login and not having to create a new one?
Yes, and the benefit to that is more for you guys to collect all their information in one profile on the admin side of the site, not so much, right.
So if I have an existing login and password, then I can just, for the next event, register using that same login and password. It stays the same.
Exactly, it would stay the same. And this is why, so like they're set to go to the member landing page, but if I go to, and I've just got about 2 more minutes, and I know we need to schedule our next call. Let me look into this separately, and I'll let you guys know what I find. I'll see if I can set it up for prospects to see anything. Like I said, I don't think I can. I don't think there's anything I can do to add them, but I will try my best, and I'll just look into it anyways. So the only other piece with the attributes for you guys to do is the attribute security. This is what your members can see in other members' profiles. So if you want your college members to be able to view other college contacts profiles, then you would need to say, okay, college contact can view other college contact profiles. They can view other colleges' profiles. Okay, they can view admin profiles, but you wouldn't really want them to view prospect profiles technically, or typically, I should say. Now, if you guys have an outward-facing or public-facing directory, you would also want to set up prospect and public. If you don't have an outward or public-facing directory, you would not need to set these up. Does this make sense?
Yeah.
I think so.
Okay. Awesome. All right, so these are the items that, so it's the invoice templates, the invoice settings, attribute security, and profile owner attribute security that I'd like for you guys to go ahead and complete from this training today. When would you all, and I'm going to have that summed up in an email, when would you all like to jump on our next training?
So we're out of the office the next week or so until the 2nd of January, so.
And how many more, I'm sorry, Adrian, how many more trainings do we have?
You guys have 3 more trainings.
Okay. We have that training with staff, I think we scheduled, right?
We did.
I thought we scheduled that for a member click. I just want to be mindful of that, because I think that's at the end of the month.
Anytime the week of the 8th of January, will that work for you guys? Oh, we already have a 1 p.m. member clicks training on the 9th.
Oh, did you guys already schedule that?
I don't know what that is. See, I feel like that's
That's
the training.
staff one.
Oh.
Because I think we thought we were going to be
cancel
done. Yeah, we
Yeah,
okay.
okay. Are you available on Tuesday the 9th, Adrian?
I am a little spotty though. What time are you guys thinking?
Well, we held 1 p.m. Are you available at 1?
She's on Eastern time.
Oh,
So that would be 4 o'clock my time.
Yeah.
That's fine. I can do 4 o'clock your time.
1 o'clock our time, 4 o'clock your time.
Yeah, 4 o'clock my time, 1 your time. So that's going to be our content training.
Okay. Oh, and in prep for that, Adrian, we spoke with our creative director and we picked a template. In order for her to put the button that directs to member clicks, do we just need to give her a hyperlink?
Yeah, but you wouldn't want to give that to her until the template is in place. Like there's going to be a login button that you guys are going to add to your existing site. And that login button is just, as of right now, it would just be asccc.memberclicks.net/login.
Okay, so you're saying just hold off on that for now?
Yeah, because you're not going to want to add that until the site is like 100% ready to go.
Yeah.
And so do we need to give you the which template we want to use?
You need to complete the design document and return it.
Yeah, that you gave to Rita. You sent that to Rita, right, yesterday?
I sent her.
The design?
Can you look at I sent you the email.
Yeah,
I just can't remember. I sent her 2 documents. I don't know what needs to complete them. Okay, that sounds good, Adrian.
Awesome. Okay, so I'm just putting a little reminder in here for you guys to send that along. And then, okay, and that's everything. So we are on for the 9th. I look forward to talking with you all then. Please get these homework items done before that training, and because otherwise you're going to forget everything that we did on this training today. And then please send back the account settings, notifications doc, and design doc at your earliest convenience. Okay, guys?
So Adrian, you're going to send us, you're going to send us all of our items that you need from us, right?
Homework, yeah.
Yep, I'm going to